When you look at the ingredients in OLLY Combat Cravings, it's clear that all it is a high-dose chromium supplement. While it does include small amounts of green tea, goji berry, and ginger, these tiny quantities are too minimal to have a significant impact, even if they possess some beneficial properties. I'll touch upon those ingredients later, but if you're wondering whether this supplement can genuinely help with reducing cravings or aiding in weight loss, the key question you should ask is whether taking high doses of chromium is effective for these purposes. So, is it effective? You need to first understand what chromium does in the body. It's an essential mineral, so your body does need it to function, but you only need tiny amounts of it. It helps with glucose metabolism. You see, when we eat, especially foods containing carbohydrates, our bodies break down these carbohydrates into sugar, specifically glucose, which enters our bloodstream. To control our blood sugar levels, our pancreas releases a hormone called insulin. Insulin acts like a key, allowing glucose to enter our cells and be used for energy. However, if we consistently consume too many high sugar or high carb foods, our bodies can become less responsive to insulin, a condition called insulin resistance. This means our cells don't readily respond to the insulin we produce, leading to elevated blood sugar levels. Over time, this can contribute to the development of type 2 diabetes. Chromium is a mineral that might help with this issue. While it doesn't increase the amount of insulin being produced, it can enhance the action of the existing insulin, making the key work better. So when you take chromium supplements, it can lead to better glucose uptake by your cells, which helps lower blood sugar levels. This can help in weight management because improved glucose control can lead to less fat storage. Having more controlled blood sugar levels may also theoretically help to reduce cravings. But is chromium effective for weight loss? Research on individuals with diabetes reveals that taking chromium may slightly lower HbA1c, a blood sugar indicator, by about 0.6%, and could lead to a modest weight loss of approximately 0.5 to 1 kilograms over a period of 12 to 16 weeks. Chromium also appears to be most beneficial for people with poorly controlled diabetes, but these benefits are mainly observed in those already experiencing insulin resistance. In simpler terms, it's likely that only individuals with diabetes or PCOS may see some advantages from taking chromium, and even then, the effects on weight loss and blood sugar are pretty small. In fact, studies on healthy, overweight, or obese adults and children show that chromium doesn't lead to any fat reduction. So while chromium may have limited effects on fat loss in those with poorly controlled diabetes or PCOS, it's unlikely to have any significant effects on the general population. What about cravings? Does chromium help with that? From a research standpoint, we lack studies in humans that specifically investigate whether chromium can help with cravings. The closest research I found looked at chromium supplements in the context of binge eating disorders, a condition marked by frequent intense cravings and excessive eating, often when not hungry. Unfortunately, this study showed that chromium didn't influence the frequency of binge eating, body weight, or depressive symptoms. So in all likelihood, chromium is not a realistic solution for managing cravings in most people. Now, let's take a look at the other ingredients. Here are the doses per capsule. The recommended dosing is 1 per day. We're going to analyze each ingredient to see whether they contain a sufficient dose, whether it contains the active compounds to work, and how effective they may be for weight loss. Then at the very end, I'll look into cheaper alternatives and give this supplement an overall rating. Green tea is often found in weight loss supplements because it contains EGCG, thought to help with weight loss. However, the real effects of these compounds on burning fat are not very powerful, and they're unlikely to lead to substantial weight loss by themselves. Studies indicate that you might need a relatively high daily dose of green tea, like 500 to 800 milligrams of EGCG extract, or more than 8 cups of green tea daily. To put it into perspective, OLLY Combat Cravings offers less than 1/10 of that amount daily. By the way, I've discussed green tea in more depth in another video, which I'll link down below. Goji berries are commonly used in Chinese cuisine, often found in soups and herbal teas. They're also utilized to make tinctures, wine, and juice in traditional Chinese medicine for various health issues. Unfortunately, there's no scientific evidence to support their effectiveness for weight or fat loss. Ginger is a traditional herb known for its warming properties, and there's some weak evidence it may assist people with diabetes in controlling blood sugar. There's also limited evidence suggesting it might help prevent weight gain, although there's no evidence it can be helpful for weight loss. It's worth noting that the studies showing these effects use relatively large amounts of ginger daily, far more than what OLLY Combat Craving provides. So clearly, OLLY Combat Cravings is nothing more than a chromium supplement. Typically, chromium is supplemented at 200 to 600 micrograms per day. 1,000 micrograms is quite high, probably unnecessary, and is considered the upper limit of safe chromium supplementation. This means you shouldn't take more than 1 capsule per day, and you need to be careful you aren't inadvertently getting chromium from other supplemental sources. Chromium overdose is rare, but can lead to some serious problems. It can cause stomach troubles like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea. In severe cases, it can even harm your kidneys and liver, cause dermatitis, and disrupt important body processes like glucose metabolism. It's worth noting that chromium is both an essential nutrient and a heavy metal, but there's a key difference between taking it as a supplement and being exposed to it as a heavy metal. Despite both involving exposure to chromium, the two types of exposure aren't connected because they involve different forms of chromium. Chromium supplements, if taken excessively, can lead to chromium toxicity, mainly because of a form called trivalent chromium, or CR3+, resulting in the symptoms we discussed before. On the other hand, exposure to chromium as a heavy metal usually involves hexavalent chromium, or CR6+, which is highly toxic and found in certain industrial settings like metalworking and chrome plating. Breathing it in or getting it on your skin can lead to serious health issues, including the risk of lung and nasal cancers. Unlike regulated supplements, environmental exposure to hexavalent chromium is uncontrolled, making it a bigger concern due to the accumulating effects of heavy metal poisoning. So is this supplement effective? For most people, OLLY Combat Cravings won't make a noticeable difference. It's not very effective in curbing cravings or aiding in weight loss. However, if you have insulin resistance problems like in diabetes or PCOS, it might offer a slight improvement in your blood sugar levels and some other health markers such as lipid levels. Even then, it's essential to keep your expectations in check, as it's unlikely to lead to significant weight loss in those individuals. OLLY Combat Cravings sells for around $17 a month. A high-dose chromium supplement is closer to $2 to $3 per month. Rating OLLY Combat Cravings by effectiveness for weight loss, I'm giving it a D. It's no better than chromium, which, although beneficial in diabetes, is not very effective for weight or fat loss. Rating it by cost, I'm giving it a D. You can replicate what OLLY Combat Cravings is providing you for many times less. Rating it for safety, I'm giving it a C. Chromium at such high doses is unnecessary and puts people at risk of overdose. Overall rating, I'm giving an F. I recommend you stay away from it. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Young. Do you think it's worth it? Let me know in the comments down below. And if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel and leave me a like. Hit the notification bell if you want to stay up to date, and share this video with someone you know can use the info.